Hi, I'm Ted Kofi, and I thought tonight I'd do a real quick video about the matter of abusive relationships in groups. Now, uh, how big is a group? Basically, a group is any situation in which there is more than you, the individual. It could be your company, it could be a club, it could be an organization you're a member of. It could be among a group of friends. It could be on a Facebook group. It could be anywhere. So long as there's more than one person, there can be abusive relationships. Now, what is in the nature of an abusive relationship? An abusive relationship is a top-down relationship in which power resides at the top and no power resides at the bottom. In this situation, everything is arranged for that hierarchy of power so that everything is done in the interest, the needs, the aspirations, and the comfort of whoever is in that top relationship. Now, needless to say, if you want a peaceful, constructive, and harmonious relationship or association in whatever this group of people are, you need a situation in which power has to be evened out. Even if somebody is in charge, somebody has ultimate responsibility, that does not mean that the individual power, the individual worth of anybody else in the rest of that group need be looked over. Now, when a relationship is abusive, what happens is that the creation of that power hierarchy is one in which the person at the bottom gives up their power. So that if there are lots of people at the bottom, say in a group, all of those people give up their power to whoever is in charge or on top, though really they shouldn't. And how do they do this? There are so many, sometimes micro ways in which people give up their power. The first one is silence. When something is going on wrong or something is going on around you that is a stone in your shoe, you stay silent. Whether you like it or not, you stay silent. That's the first sign that an abusive relationship is going on between the hierarchy and the people at the bottom. Second thing is, if the people at the bottom start to speak up and talk about their reality, this reality is denied. It's kind of dismissed. You're making it up. It's a fantasy. You can't be serious. Oh, get a grip. That sort of thing. You're gaslighted into thinking that actually what you're seeing with your very eyes doesn't exist. Thirdly, instead of what you're seeing with your very eyes being acknowledged and dealt with, you are told, the people at the bottom are told what the reality actually is, despite the evidence of their eyes. So an alternative reality is imposed on them, and basically they're being told what good or what right looks like. Fourthly, what it means also is that the people at the top of this hierarchy, at the top of the abusive relationship, the abusers and their needs are valued more. They are given more worth because, remember, the entire edifice has been arranged so that things are done in the interest of the people who are at the top. Next one. What it means then is that everything you do, in fact, your raison d'etre, your reason for being in that relationship, is to keep them propped up and keep you put down. Effectively, you're putting yourself down. And the last and most subtle thing of all is that in an abusive relationship, the person at the bottom does absolutely everything possible not to embarrass the abuser. And this afternoon I watched a video, quite a harrowing video, which it's actually, kind of prompted this post, of a woman who was long-term abused in a paedophile cult. And, we all read that, headlines, the stories about how some children are being abused and this and that. We all have a sense that, yes, this sort of thing does go on. But it was only when I listened to this woman's, I think she was being abused from the age of 6 to the age of about 11, what she went through, that I really saw the ins and outs and the dynamics of it. And I realized that I hadn't wanted to know before because I didn't want to confront the horror of that situation. Now, the takeaway from all of this about these abusive relationships in organizations and structures is that the spirit to abuse lies in the self. The spirit to create a just, workable, and constructive environment lies in the self. And while we all can analyze our environments, back to front, mirror image, upside down, and we can analyze these things kind of in our sleep even, the blind spot most of us have is what is going on in the heart. Because there is a material side to what's going on with any abusive relationship, and there's a metaphysical, call it spiritual side to what's going on. Those who are abusers are filled with anger, arrogance, contempt for others. And this anger, arrogance, and contempt manifests as a lack of empathy for the person being abused. If they were to empathize with the people they were abusing, they'd stop immediately. It would be too heartbreaking for them to do. So it's almost a psychopathic state of mind, because psychopathy is all about a lack of empathy, a lack of engagement with the other, enables the predation on the people at the bottom. Now, what can easily happen also is that, and this lady was talking about an experience of how they actually propped up the egos and the power of those who were abusing them and became, in a sense, an apologist for them. At any rate, they would never, ever, ever speak up while they'd been groomed to be in that position. Now, one of the most telling things this lady said was that the people who are abusers have to be haughty, have to be arrogant, have to be aggressive, have to lack empathy, because they are so in themselves insecure that for them to show humility would be, in their eyes, a mark of weakness. And that is just how shockingly disturbed abusers of any kind are. Doesn't matter whether you're a pedophile, a misogynist, a racist, a classist, a fat shamer, a body fascist, whatever. Any of these abusive relationships require the transference of power from an individual to their abuser. So, what's the solution? There's only one solution. And that solution is profound because it also heals the pathology that makes a person a victim of abuse. They have to take their power back. Because the reason the abuser needs to be pedestalized, needs to be put up there, is because inside they feel worthless. And so it's almost as if it's like a bicycle pump. You got to keep inflating, puffing up the flat tube in the tire, which is their ego. They just don't feel strong until they're being puffed up and put on the pedestal. And where that comes to where we are now in the United Kingdom is vis-a-vis racism. Racism is maintained by people not taking their power back, by continuing to be silent, by allowing people to deny their reality, by allowing other people to impose their reality on them, by valuing the abuser more than they value themselves, by doing the things that benefit them and diminish you. By refusing to say your truth even if it embarrasses them. That's what an abusive relationship is all about. And with where we are with this pandemic, with the COVID, the lockdowns, the mental stresses that are being caused by our certainly very difficult situation, I can't think of a better time to actually go the whole 9 yards and start to change any abusive relationships that we have in our lives. One thing is for certain, you cannot have a peaceful world. Those of you who care even the slightest about world peace cannot care about world peace and engage in abusive relationships in your environment, in any group that you are. So it doesn't matter. This is a democracy. Everybody is protected by laws. People need to take their power back and hold it to themselves. And everything changes. Absolutely everything changes. Nobody dies. Nobody suffers. Well, the abuser might suffer, but that's because they have no self-worth within themselves. And the moment the abused remove their power, refuse to prop them up like that, they get healed. And the abuser is forced to find a way of healing themselves. Hope you like that. I'm going to publish this to YouTube. Hit the subscribe button underneath for more content like this. And thank you so much for watching.